Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your Aston Villa versus Fulham Premier League watch-along live on That's Football. How you doing this weekend? It's a long weekend in the UK. It might not be so long wherever else you are, but it's all about the race for top 5. I nearly said top 4, but that would be wrong. It's a race for top 5. It's an interesting one. I mean, in some ways, it's also interesting in relation. Well, Europe. I was out last night actually with a Villa fan, and we were talking about. I said I'll ask the chat on That's Football. They're very learned. We're sponsored by Surfshark, by the way. I'll talk you through that in a moment. Brilliant offer there, VPN, if you want to check that out. But let me have a quick look at the league table before we talk about Surfshark. Here we go. So. The league table as it stands, it's all about the race for top 5. It's going to be Chelsea, Forest or Villa, if we're being honest, because Man City have done enough and I think Newcastle will do enough. But there is potentially a race for 8th place, isn't there? I think if Manchester City lose the FA Cup final, then Crystal Palace, I think it comes down to this. Correct me if I'm wrong. If Man City win the FA Cup, it goes down to 8th. If Crystal Palace win the FA Cup, it goes down to 7th. I think I'm right about that. And if it goes down to 8th, then Fulham, Brighton and Brentford are separated by 2 points. Obviously, if it goes down to 7th, it's going to be Chelsea, Forest and Villa, and one of them goes into the Conference League, which Forest might not mind, but I don't think Villa want to go from the Champions League to the Conference League. Basically, in relation to the top 5 race, Chelsea's running is difficult. They've got Liverpool tomorrow. We're doing a watch-along for that. Then they've got Newcastle away. Then they've got United. And then they've got Forest away. So I think if Villa won their last 4 games, they probably get 5th place. I can see Chelsea and Forest dropping points. So it's all about, can Villa do that? So we start off today with that. Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Greg Donald says, I think Chelsea will get the 5th spot, Mark. What is your serious thoughts on Everton? You always seem to be negative towards them for some reason. Because I'm banned, Brendan. They banned me from Goodison Park and they won't tell me why. So I'm sorry. If you're banned from your local pub, you're not going to give them a good review on TripAdvisor, are you? And I don't even know why I'm banned. So I've always liked Goodison Park. Put it this way, right? My issue with Everton is, a year ago, I got invited to play at Goodison Park. Goodison Park has always been my favourite away ground, and it's going to get knocked down. So I was like, this is amazing. I'm going to get to play on the pitch at my favourite away ground. And 3 days before, they cancelled, and they wouldn't tell me why. So I have a problem with that. I'm sorry, I have a problem with that. And if they got relegated, I'd laugh. I don't really have a problem with Everton fans, and I like the ground. But sometimes when people you like disrespect you, then you have a problem, don't you? So I've got a problem with Everton until they tell me what the problem is. And I'm sure everybody would understand that. Gutted that I didn't get to play there. And I don't know why I'm banned. All right, I've said that Pickford's crap. And I did a Sean Dyche impression, but come on. Let's be honest. You're bigger than Everton, says Dean Smith. And I don't know about that, but I did get, utter woke nonsense, says Jack. I did get invited to play at Anfield, so I went. I played the next week. Anyway, we're back here. Let's have a look at the team news. But before we do that, let's talk about Surfshark. Surfshark are sponsoring this stream, and they're very relevant on a weekend for certain things, because what Surfshark is a virtual private network. It's a leading service for protecting your online data and privacy. It securely safeguards your private messages, your photos, your videos, and sensitive information. But the best thing is it allows you to change your virtual location on platforms like Netflix for global content access. So if you're on a trip to New York and you want to get on your Netflix in the UK, you just change your location from New York to London. This can work really well if you live in a country where they're very restrictive about certain sporting events on a Saturday afternoon. You may be able to change your location to somewhere else where they're not. Links in the description, check it out. Offers a Surfshark one suite, including alerts for personal data breaches, private ad-free browsing, antivirus, and also you can use it on unlimited simultaneous devices. So you can be on your phone using it, your laptop using it, your iPad, whatever. Compatible with Android, iOS, and all that. But the best thing is as well, you use the codes That's Football, you get an extra 4 months free. So That's Football's the code, 4 months free. 30-day comprehensive digital protection package with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Grab the exclusive offer with the code That's Football for premium digital protection. Check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. Thank you very much to Surfshark. So the players are entering the pitch right now. Connor says Pickford isn't crap. I think he is. Contextually, I think he's crap. I mean, look, he makes some brilliant saves. I've given him man of the match, but contextually, I think he's nowhere near Alisson or Donnarumma or Raya or, you know, a few other goalkeepers. And he's England's number one. So I think Pickford as an Everton goalkeeper, a decent Premier League goalkeeper, absolutely fine. But as an England number one, it's a poor representation, I think, of English goalkeeping that he's England's number one for so long, because I don't think he's at that. He's not at the level of a David Seaman or someone like that, you know, or a Peter Shilton. I think he's a decent Premier League goalkeeper, but you know, he's no better than Leno, is he? He's no better than Sells. He's just a decent Premier League goalkeeper. But who else is there? JS. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. You're right. Right, let's have a look at the team news. Man City, of course, won 1-0 last night. Nobody watched that. I mean, who stayed in last night to watch Man City against Wolves? Bloody hell. Even Wolves fans didn't bother with that. Although I was out last night. I went for an impromptu few drinks last night and a curry. I don't get it. I do not get it. Like, the pub I went to was quiet. The curry house I went to was dead. It's normally rammed at like 10:30 at night, 10 o'clock. Really quiet last night, and I don't know why. What were people doing? Watching Man City Wolves, Mark? Can't be. Can't be. Absolutely not. Surely not. Anyway, there are only 4 Premier League games today. Villa, Fulham, Everton, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton, and Arsenal, Bournemouth. Probably the worst set of 3 o'clock games in Premier League history. I mean, who's watching Everton play Ipswich or Leicester play Southampton? I mean, in fact, who's watching Arsenal play Bournemouth? Even Arsenal fans don't want to watch that. So this is definitely the best game today. It's got something on it. I think if Villa don't win, then potentially I would say that their Premier League hopes are, their Champions League hopes are gone. How's he lined up? Well, it's Martinez, Cash, Konza, Torres, Maatsen, Kamara, Tielemans, Asensio, Rodgers, McGinn, and Watkins. I think, you know, the injury to Rashford's a bad thing, but I felt like they had a lot of options, and maybe having to go with Watkins now when they need to win 4 games in a row might actually work out okay. I mean, obviously losing Rashford's a shame, but I think they need a bit of like, stop chopping and changing. I think that was the problem in the PSG game. Took Rashford off at the wrong time, definitely. Also, Ollie Watkins is 1 goal away from breaking Gabby Agbonlaho's record, and I think every Villa fan would say that that's got to be a good thing. Leno, Robinson, Bassi, Anderson, Tete, Lukic, Berg, Iwobi, Wilson, Sessegnon, and Jimenez are the team for Fulham today. Fulham are more than capable of winning this game, by the way. More than winnable. More than capable. They are the quintessential Premier League side. They can beat anybody. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to go with a Villa win. I think they have to win. They've got an amazing home record for Aston Villa, by the way. I know they've had a bit of a wobble. Very disappointing at Wembley last week. But I think they'll win this. I do. Right. Get your questions in if you've got any topics of conversation. I've got a bit of a topic of conversation for you. It's probably going to increase the amount of people who do this. But I nearly did an Insta story on it last night. So I was walking to the pub last night, and this car was coming the way, and it obviously recognised me. And as they went past, their window was open, and all I heard was, "Right." And I just thought, is it excitement? Is it stupidity? I mean, if you're doing 30 miles per hour and you're trying to say something to somebody who is walking the other way, it's like scientifically proven you will not get everything out that you want to say. Even if you went, "Mark," that's probably just going to come across as, "Ma." But it happens a lot. Happens a lot. They could be going, hate your content and you're a fake fan or something like that. But all I'd get is, huh. Yeah. But it happens a lot. And I think the people who are driving really think whatever they're shouting, I'm going to hear it. And all I ever hear is, moo. But it's funny how many people do it, isn't it? The other one that is not related to me that annoys me is I was walking into Sainsbury's the other day, and as I went to cross the road, this car went beep, 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 right? So I looked, as did everyone else on the street, and all it was obviously it's some, I don't know, 40-year-old woman who's recognised a friend of her daughter's going to school on the other side of the road. Because as I looked, she's there going, and I thought, F off, you silly twat. Like, you've just gone on a busy road and everyone's looked at you, had a shock, so you can wave at a schoolgirl. Having said that, let's be honest, I've made a very unfair stereotypical assessment of that. If that was a 40-year-old man doing it at a schoolgirl, he would be called a pervert or a nonce. Just because it's a 40-year-old woman doesn't mean she wasn't leching after a schoolgirl. I just assumed it was a friend's daughter. But you know what? Can women be nonces as well? I don't know. But there you go. Looking sharp today, Mark. Who you got winning, says Lemsit. Villa. What a bloody fright, says Lemsit. There we go. Thanks for your super chats, mate, early on. I actually don't know the answer to that question. Can 40-year-old women lust after schoolgirls and be a nonce? Is that actually a thing? And you thought you were watching Villa Fulham. We are, but we also have proper conversations here. Politically, very big landscape. Oh, no, I'm not going there. Not going there. No talk of reform. I don't even understand what it's all about. Anyway, we're up and running here. Villa need the win. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Of course, we're back with Champions League watch-alongs. In relation to, look, we've always got daily content on That's Football. You're very welcome. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching. Let us know. But we do watch-alongs, of course. The week looks like this. Liverpool at Chelsea tomorrow at 4:30. Obviously, I'll be doing United against Brentford at 2. Chelsea-Liverpool tomorrow at 4:30, and then Tuesday night, can't wait, Barcelona-Inter. I mean, that's the tie, isn't it? But then again, I also think Wednesday night we'll be doing PSG-Arsenal. I expect PSG to win that because they're so good at home, but here's Watkins, he's drifted wide. I expect PSG to win that because I think they're so good at home, but it is only 1-0. Glad Plymouth have gone down. That place is a shithole, says Cashley Cole. Don't let Pieface let you know that. Does Pieface? I do like Pieface. I've not spoken to him in a long time. Does he still stream until like? Those were the days. Oh, those were the days. I used to do. Well, it's out in a year, isn't it? Grand Theft Auto 6. But I used to do. Oh, it was a great time. I don't think it was COVID. I did a play. Here we go. Oh. Cleared away by Fulham. I did a playthrough of Grand Theft Auto 5 on Twitch over the course of about 2 months. And I used to do it from like 11:30 at night till about 2 o'clock in the morning. And when I was streaming, Pieface would be streaming and Zerka used to stream as well. And it was like its own little mini community. We used to like do raids and stuff like that. But yeah, he had a mad streaming schedule of Pieface. He's like a Plymouth fan. He had a mad streaming schedule where I think he used to start at about 11 o'clock at night and go through till 4 in the morning. Respect. Apparently he doesn't do it anymore. And then he'd be like going to the Tesco 24 hours in Plymouth at like 5 o'clock in the morning and post it on his Instagram. He does still do it, says JH. There we go. Was he streaming for the American market? I don't think he was. I genuinely don't think he was streaming for the American market. I think he was just doing it for... that was the sort of time he wanted to do it, the life he was living, the life he lives, I don't know. David says, I need a good hangover cure. You know what? I had 5 pints last night, and I had half a bottle of red the night before, and I felt it for about the first half an hour I woke up. I feel fine now. Anyway, I'm loving this. Keep the chat going. Why is my timer's way out here? Way out. It's hungover. I'd like to do a playthrough again. Yeah, I would like to do a playthrough again. I think this is a bit of a hangover cure. This stream today, watching a football match on a Saturday, having a bit of a chat with an amazing group of people. So get your questions in. The football's just there. You know, sometimes we do watch-alongs like this where the football's there and there's a chat going on. Sometimes you do watch-alongs like Inter Barcelona and it's all about the football. Who's the biggest club in the Northeast, Mark, says user? I'd say it's Newcastle, having never been to the Northeast. Nice ball in behind to Maatsen. That's another corner. Villa got to win this, by the way. But yeah, I had... there's a couple of bars around where I live, Octagon and Skogan. One's in Knoll, one's in Dorwich, which is sort of like a nice area of Solihull, which is south of Birmingham. And they've got these... I think they're owned by the same people, but they don't have like... what do you call it? Madri or all that sort of stuff. They have their own... I don't know what they are, but they have a... Ooh, headed just wide. What do they call them? Not real ale, because they have got lagers, but they're all like... Oh, I don't know. Hipster lager, I call it. You know, it's like a hipster bar. It's got like loads of... it's got their own lagers and, you know, IPAs and all that sort of stuff. Freedom 4 it is, which is a lager, but it's like 4%. So I had about 5 of them. No, I had 4 of them, and then I went for a curry and had a couple of tigers. Yeah, just saw him in the street and beat the shit out of them. 2 tigers against Goldbridge, bang. One's on the floor, knocked out. The second one just did a stone cold stunner on it. Of course I'm joking. I'm talking about 2 tiger beers from the curry shop. So, yeah, felt all right. Robinson was in EA Sports Team of the Year. Do you agree with that, says Flores Official? I'm going to get that up. EA Sports Team of the Year. EA Sports. It's in the game. EA Sports. It's in the game. Is he in their Team of the Year, or is he just part of the vote for Team of the Year? I can't see it. How does Sky Sports News load a video up with 1.5 million subscribers and get 6,000 views 18 hours ago? God. Okay, I think I've got it here. No, they haven't got Robinson in it. I've got one here. It's Sells in goal, Trent right back, Van Dijk and Gabriel, Kirkez left back, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice, Gravenberch, Isak, Salah and Cunha. You can't put Cole Palmer in. You can't put Cole Palmer in ahead of... well, I suppose he'd be the attacking player. You've got to put Alexi McAllister in. Is Cole Palmer the best attacking midfield? I understand in a midfield 3 you need... Look, Rice, Gravenberch and Palmer isn't bad. I would actually... I would actually put Cunha into the midfield 3, leave Palmer out and put another attacker in. But Kirkez at left back instead of Robinson, I ain't got a problem with. to be honest. Cross comes into the box. Villa clear it away. As a Fulham fan, makes me feel good to see them again on a watch-along. Come on, Fulham. Hope you and the family are well. Says Sir J.K. Worthing. Look, we will cover other teams on here. And I think Fulham, Bournemouth, Forest, Brentford have had a very good season. Don't get me started on Brighton. I feel like Brighton have massively underachieved, but apparently I'm wrong. Are you going to do a Conference League final if it's Chelsea against Anthony, says Will? I might do. I might do, actually. I mean, I've never really thought about doing a Conference League watch-along final, but it might be interesting. Oh, lovely ball in behind for Fulham. Player falls over, cross comes in. They've still got it on the back post. Robinson. And Villa will get it away. Could have been a goal, that. Muse says, to be fair, Cole Palmer was good in the first half of the season, but not so good in the second half. Congratulations to Ojedele winning the Polish cap with Legia, says St. Bart. There we go. And if you're Jobe Bellingham, what's your next club? Says Tanish. How good is Jobe Bellingham, though? If his name's Jobe Billingham, no, it was too close to Bellingham. If his name's Jobe Smith, how good is he? You know? And that's sort of like the question. I don't watch the Championship, so I don't know. Will FIFA Rage Bridge ever return, says FPV? I would like to do something on FIFA EAFC, but... Goal! What a goal! 1-0. Absolutely brilliant. Tielemans again. He has been brilliant these last few weeks for Villa, and he's just scored direct from a corner. Banger of a header. And Villa have got that goal that they so need here in the first 12 minutes. You don't stop those. Anthony Robinson's shaking his head. Marco Silva's already doing the post-mortem. Watch this back. Yeah, he's not... Well, it's a good header. Where the ball is, he's attacking it. Two Fulham players are attacking it. Very brave header. Very good header. He's just there ahead of Berg and other players. And you can't save those. Marco Silva's got white trainers on. That's why you're losing, mate. You've gone hipster. Blame Redknapp. Cashley Cole says, what rattled you more, Fall Guys or Burnley? Oh, mate, I really did used to enjoy doing the gaming streams. Like, we always do it for the charity watch-along. I'm thinking of doing like a Last of Us playthrough, because I have been watching the series on TV, and apparently the game's really good, so I might do that, but who's going to watch it, you know? Who is the most complete midfielder in the Premier League? Adarsh. I think Bruno G's quite complete, you know, when you talk about the ability to do everything. I mean, Kovacic used to be. I don't think he's as good as he used to be. De Bruyne was quite complete. Rodri's very good defensively. Declan Rice is very good defensively, but can do the offensive work. Complete's the number 8, isn't it? You know, I'm hoping that Kobbie Mainoo can become that. But Tielemans is up there at the moment. McAllister, of course, at Liverpool. So I think there's an array of players there. Bruno Guimaraes, Alexis McAllister. As I said, Kovacic used to be very good at it. He's had a good end to the season, to be fair. John McGinn, yeah, not bad. Good question, Adarsh. I'm not doing 100 men versus one gorilla anymore. I'm actually bored of it. Chicken Music says, as a Chelsea fan, Declan Rice is the best midfielder in my opinion. Always thought he'd go to Chelsea, actually. You do hear things in the industry, and there was definitely a time where it was really expected. I remember Alex Goldberg, who's the Chelsea social media influencer or whatever you want to call it, and he's got good connections around Chelsea and stuff. And I remember him saying to me a few times that Declan to Chelsea is sort of, you know, because him and Mason Mount were quite tight as well. But obviously that all changed. I mean, I've spoken to a few people about Chelsea, and obviously I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I mean, even like, I've spoken to a few people who are quite close to Chelsea, and they're like, it is a bit of a mess. They need this Champions League, don't they? But it's a big game for them tomorrow. I mean, Liverpool just won the league. It's a big game for Chelsea, that. Jimmy Pop, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Anyway, we've got a goal here in the first 15 minutes. Aston Villa are 1-0 up. What's for tea tonight, Mark? Well, I can't have an Indian because I had that last night. So I might have a Chinese tonight. I've not had a Chinese for ages, actually. Quite fancy a Chinese. Mason Mount's been terrible for us, Ray Beam. Really bad. Like, the last 4 games he's come on as a sub, he does nothing. Like, that's the worry for me. It's one thing that he's pretty much injury prone. I mean, it's bad enough having a good player who always gets injured, but having a player that always gets injured and actually doesn't play well, that's the problem as well. Steak and eggs for Lucian. Before the season ends, can you give your prediction on the top 5 and winner of all competitions based on where we are, says Khalid. Well, Liverpool have won the league. Relegation's done. Man City will win the FA Cup. I still think Barcelona for the Champions League. Europa League, Man United. Conference League, Chelsea. Top 5. I think that 5th place is really difficult to predict. If we get the Premier League table up here, what are we going for? Like, what are you going for? I mean, Chelsea are in possession, but, I mean, Villa obviously are level with them at the moment. That's as things stand. They have a game in hand. Chelsea got a good goal. I think goal difference might be it. I think I'm going to go Chelsea on goal difference. That's what I'm going to go with, because I think Villa and Chelsea will finish on the same points, but Chelsea do it on goal difference. I think Forest have blown it. 3 losses in 4 games. I think Chelsea will do it on goal difference. But Chelsea's running is difficult. Liverpool tomorrow, can you see Liverpool losing again? They won't want to... It's all right saying Liverpool won't be at it tomorrow, but they're not. I think they want to get a good points total and they won't want to get beat again. So will Chelsea beat Liverpool? Then they've got Newcastle, who I think will beat them at St James's. So then they've got Man United, but I think they'll beat United because United really won't be focusing on a game. And our record's bad at Stamford Bridge. And then Forest last game, I think they'd have to win. I think you need 67. Go. Can I get the league table back, please? Can I get the league table back, please? There we go. I think 67 points will do it. So 2 wins and a draw for Chelsea. So maybe a draw tomorrow, and then beat Man United and Forest. But Villa need to win their last 3 games. Villa's running's really interesting. Like, Villa have got Spurs just before the Europa League final. So I think that's well timed. And then they've got Man United after the Europa League final, which either way is well timed because they'll either be devastated or pissed and hungover. So Villa would probably expect to take another 6 points. That takes them to 66. Lovely ball in. Oh, keeper's quick off his line there, Leno. Penelope Baxter says, do you think Arsenal need to be careful about not finishing second? Knowing the Arsenal fan base, they probably do need to be a little bit careful because I think they'd moan if they didn't finish second. But honestly, I look at it and go, I couldn't give a shit whether I finished second or third. We didn't win the league. Dan Davies says, definitely play The Last of Us, Mark. Should do a poll on if people want to see you play it, says Dan. Thank you very much, mate. Would you call Bruno a Man United legend, says Zero? I think he is... I think it's an age thing. I think if you're under 30, Bruno's got to be a legend because in your lifetime he's been a very, very good player. I think if you're over 30 and you're old enough to remember what, you know, genuine success at the football club is, I wouldn't say he's a legend, no. But I'd say he's been a great player for Manchester United, but I couldn't call him a legend, no. Can they get back into this, Fulham? Lucas says silly take, Mark. I don't care whether you think it's a silly take. I get asked a question and I give you an answer, and I give you a very informed answer. He's not a legend, in my opinion. 100 people can say he's a legend, and I can say he's not a legend. It won't change my mind. The majority will think he's a legend. That's fine. I don't. I've explained it. So you can call it a silly take. It's mine, and I've explained it. Legends are people like Ryan Giggs, Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, David Beckham. These are legends because they won big things and were top-class players. Bruno Fernandes, I wouldn't put him in any of those teams. I think he's for me, Bruno Fernandes is what is probably, is a United great, but I wouldn't say he's a legend for me. Yeah. How did United get knocked out of the FA Cup by Fulham, says Ken. On penalties, pal. Look, Fulham are a good side. Fulham are a team that they can beat anybody, they can lose to anybody. But what's Villa's home record? Like, Villa have got a ridiculous home record, haven't they? They've not been beaten since like 1992 or something like that. I don't think Forest will get top four, Alec. No. No. I think 3 losses in their last 4, especially when you're losing at home to teams like Brentford and Everton. I mean, with all due respect to Brentford and Everton, they're more than capable of winning away from home at the City Ground. But when you're trying to get into the top 4, I think the sad thing for them is that they've been in the top 3 since September. But when you lose 3 games out of 4, somebody said to me, do you think Forest, Nuno's tactics have been figured out? I don't think his tactics have been figured out. I think it's the momentum shift. They play counter-attacking defensive football, but they need to win. And teams know they need to win. So teams are sort of like going, we're not going to just let you counter us. So what's your thoughts on Rashford going to Barcelona, says Harrison? I can't see that. I can't see it, really. They've got Rafinha, they've got Yamal. I suppose they want another winger. Have they got the money? Tell you what, I think he would suit their system. I just can't see it happening financially. Sam says, have we got any former addicts in the chat for advice for beating cravings? Which Villa player starts for the United team in your opinion? Fucking hell, mate. Most of them. I mean, Martinez, definitely. Centre-backs is interesting because United have got some good centre-backs, to be fair. So, I mean, maybe that's a debate point. Matty Cash. He's not better than Mazraoui. Maatsen or Digne are probably better than Dorgu at the moment because Dorgu's still a work in progress. Into the midfield, I think Tielemans would be in a Man United side at the moment. I think Rodgers would be in a Man United side. I think Watkins would be in a Man United side. So Asensio probably would as well. The question is, would a Villa player come to Man United? Wesley says, you're right, Mark. He's not a legend. MUFC for life. I mean, look, if you want to call Bruno Fernandes a legend, I ain't got a problem with it. I think if you're a certain age, why wouldn't you? You know, if you're like 24, 25, what legends have you actually seen? You're allowed to have. You're allowed to have different criteria, and you know, I'm lucky. I've witnessed 20 years of what a proper legend of Man United is. And you don't have to win things. Brian Robson's a legend of Manchester United, and United were only winning cup competitions then, so it can be. Here's Watkins. Oh, it's gone. What would a Spurs United combined 11 be, says Steve Wynyard? I don't know. I tell you what, though. It's such a shame that Bergval's out for the season. A real shame. Because I have watched a bit of Spurs this season, and he always looks like a player that... I'm not saying he's their best player, but he always looks like a player that isn't infected by bottler, light switch football. You know, like some Spurs players on their day can be brilliant and then shit. I think Bergval always looked like he was putting the shift in, so I think he's a loss for them, really. But I can't understand. I mean, maybe people look at Man United as well like it. I can't understand why. Lovely ball here. 2v2. Rodgers gets a good tackle there. Bassey. I can't understand when you look at that Spurs squad how they're that bad. Jack H says, UK to get hottest summer ever, says the Met Office. Have you just made that up? Yeah, but you know, last year they said that summer 24 was the hottest summer we've had on record in the UK. I thought it was crap. Where was all this hot weather last summer? I didn't notice it. Yuri Tillemans has been phenomenal this season. Has to be team of the season, says Dan77. I definitely noticed it in the last couple of months. Every time I've watched Villa, I think Tillemans has been brilliant. Really good. Shout out the name Glenn, please. Says Chubby. Lockdown was really hot. Yeah. They do run that headline every year. I don't know whether it's like it where you live. I mean, the UK weather is... I think if you live in certain places like New York, you're going to get hot summers and you're going to get snow in the winter. In the UK, we don't guarantee hot weather in the summer or snow in the winter, but we always get these articles at the start of May. It's going to be the hottest summer ever. And then we also get in like November, it's going to be the beast from the east on Red Bull. It's going to be blanket snow for 4 months. And then you get a bit of sleet one day. I remember there was, I mean, this is boring talking about the weather, but I remember there was one summer, it wasn't last year, where it was like, it seemed to be for 2 weeks, it was like 30-something degrees, and even at night, it was 30 degrees at night. That was hot. Another weird question, says Khalid. Arsenal and Chelsea both get a Gyökeres. Who would have a better season? Arsenal. I think Chelsea have got loads of work to do. I really do. I think Chelsea have got a lot of work to do, whereas I look at Arsenal and I think they are really squad depth and a striker away from winning a title. Wujek, that's football media at gmail.com. Would you take Herrera in United's midfield today, says Mads? Nah, he's too old. We shouldn't have got rid of him, but that's a yellow card. Get your card out, mate. Yeah. Sessegnon booked there for pulling back. I tell you what, it still amazes me the amount of people that didn't think it was a red card in the Bilbao game. I mean, that is just not up for debate. It's not up for interpretation. It's in the rules. Like, that had to be a sending off. In a world that Liverpool, Chelsea, United and Arsenal all get strikers this summer, who do you reckon goes where? Jack, I don't know who Liverpool are looking at. I feel that Gyökeres is going to Arsenal, unless there is a late play by Man United, which I hope there is. I don't know why Chelsea are looking at Liam Delap. I don't get that. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think Chelsea are similar to Manchester United. You don't need another learner driver. Like, Chelsea just have got so many people that are going to be good in 3 years. I think they need a striker now who can score goals now. So I don't know why you'd go for Liam Delap, who's 22. I don't know what Liverpool are looking at. I mean, there's some good strikers out there. Sesko, Ekitike, Gyökeres. Osman's probably going to Saudi, to be fair. Liam Delap, as we've mentioned. Boniface. There are, Jonathan David. There are interesting options up front, but I don't. Isak, if he was to leave Newcastle, which I don't think he will. Ohio says Gyökeres isn't good enough for Arsenal. Okay. Mate, you don't have a striker. How can he not be good enough for Arsenal when you don't actually have a striker? Come on, think before you type. I think what you're trying to say is you could do better than Gyökeres, but you can't say he's not good enough for Arsenal. You don't actually have one. Like, Jonathan David would be good for Arsenal better than nobody, isn't he? I don't know why, but I can see Bruno winning a Serie A plus Champions League and top 3 Ballon d'Or in the next 5 years. How's he going to win the Serie A? How's he going to win that? Michael, what are you on about? You can see Bruno winning a Serie A plus a Champions League and top 3 in the Ballon d'Or in the next 5 years. I mean, I'd love him to win a Champions League and top 3 Ballon d'Or in a Man United shirt, but he can't win the Italian league. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the Glazers to put us into the Italian league if they could make a bit of money out of it, but I've not heard anything. He won't leave Man United. The contract's too long and it's 300 grand a week, so they don't. Who's the highest? Here we go. Here's a good question for you. Who is the highest earner? In fact, I'll do it for you. So I've got a list here of the top earners in the Italian league. Vlahovic is on 360k a week. Martinez at Milan is on 270k a week, and they're the only 2 players in the league that are on more than 200k a week. Barella's on 195k a week in 3rd. Kalanoglu's on 180k a week in 4th, and Kyle Walker is on 175k a week in 5th. There's not a lot of money in the Italian league, basically. I mean, Douglas Luiz at Juventus is on 135k a week, and he's in 9th. Yeah, they don't pay great wages. Who would you prefer at Man United, says Alec? Cunha or Xavi Simons? I'd take Cunha, please. If it was a Champions League final between Manchester United and Manchester City, but your son said plays for City, who would you support in the final? United. Yeah, I don't think he'd have a problem with that either. In fact, they better not start him because if he wants a good Christmas present, he's scoring an own goal. No, I don't. I wouldn't have a problem with my kid playing for Liverpool or Man City. I mean, I would do the same if that's the only option you've got to play football. I wanted to be a professional footballer. I'm sure many of you did. If somebody said to me, "It's no professional footballer, it's Liverpool," I'd play for Liverpool. But I support Manchester United, so I wouldn't support Man City in a final just because my son was playing for them. What's the last? You know, what's your life as a United fan for then? Here's McGinn. I mean, it's easier said than done. You know, living it's probably a little bit different, isn't it? I mean, Jamie Carragher changed from from Everton to Liverpool, didn't he? Thanks for the super chat, though, L. Very interesting scenario, L show. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Villa comfortable here at the moment. They need to win to keep those Champions League hopes alive. They need to win this. But whilst it's 1-0, Fulham are very competitive. That's a nice little ball over the top into Watkins. Need some support. I mean, that's the thing I like about Watkins as well, is that when he's on it, he gets assists as well, doesn't he? Thanks to everyone who subscribed, by the way. We are very close to 323,000. We're only 50 subscribers away, so please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. You're all very welcome. Get your questions in. Doesn't have to be football related. Somebody was asking for a hangover cure. Don't drink too much. When I used to live in Dublin, we're talking a while ago, but I used to live in Dublin. A lot of my mates were in like uni because I was like 19, but I was working in Dublin. So they would not, if we were out on a Friday, Saturday night, great. But being students, they'd go out like Wednesday, Thursday. And of course, you want to go with them, but you'd have work the next day. So I had quite a good tactic. I'd basically, I'd drink from 9 at night till midnight, and then at midnight I'd stop drinking alcohol and just drink like soft drinks, and I always found that made me less hangover in the day. I suppose it's about knowing your limits, isn't it? Maybe if you're out, just have 4 pints and then stop. Good play by Rodgers into the box. The great thing about that was, though, at midnight, I'd have a few drinks, I'd feel quite drunk, and then I'd basically just go and dance and stuff because you're buzzing off the alcohol from earlier on, aren't you? Just don't top it up. Bruno Fernandes or Kelvin De Bruyne, says Bruno. I think you mean Kevin. I think De Bruyne's better than Bruno across his career. I think now Bruno's better than De Bruyne. I think De Bruyne's only started playing well because he's looking for a new move, isn't he? The Willian effect. Yeah, Gavin says, finish it off with a nice kebab. Hey, well in by Leno. Kevin says, can you describe the current game? Aston Villa are winning 1-0. Pushing for the second goal. Fulham are being competitive, but don't really have much of a goal risk at the moment. NAU says, I can't stand female commentators. Ruins the game. Is it a female commentator? Yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything about it because it will just get taken completely out of context. What I will say is you are allowed to say that. Apparently, some people think you can't say that. What you can't do is what Joey Barton does and be sexist. You can say, I don't like this particular female commentator. Look, I think Rio Ferdinand is an absolutely dreadful co-commentator for football. I don't think he's a bad pundit when he's sat at half-time, but I think he's an awful co-commentator. You're allowed to say it. As bad as it sounds, some people actually can't stand my content, you know. It's amazing, but true. It takes all sorts. Some people are stupid. Would you swap Marcus Rashford for Watkins, says Rudy? Yes. You know why I took a bit of time? Because basically, Ollie Watkins is worth 60 million. And we won't get 60 million for Rashford, so we'd get the better deal. A lot of people will go age. Oh, you know, Watkins is 30 or whatever. But of course I would. Of course I would. Because financially, we'd be getting the better deal. And we'd be getting an experienced striker. So, yeah, I would do, Rudy. Yes. Dan77 said, she said there's a kit clash. Where? If that's a kit clash, a dark colour against a white colour, then I'm telling you now, you definitely need to go and get your eyes tested. There is no kit clash there at all. Crispy Lad says, if you got asked to do official commentary on Sky or TNT, would you do it? Despite what some people think, I'd always have a conversation, but I think it would be a no. Knowing what I know, I think it would be a no. What's your second favourite sport, Mark, says Cole? I drift. I do like, I've enjoyed watching the snooker. I loved the Williams-Higgins game. I think I'm at an age now where football's my priority and it takes up most of my time. And then I like, with other sports, I don't really have time. You know what? What I would say is, it's like being married to football and having the odd dabble with something else, like a one-night stand, enjoying it but not wanting any more commitment. Like if there's a good rugby match, I'll watch it. If it's the Olympics, I'll watch some of it. If it's like a good snooker match, I'll watch it. If it's a good Formula One, I'll watch it. But football's my main priority. Don't do that in your marriage, by the way, because that's not going to work. You know, if your husband or wife finds that, if you say that to your husband or wife, I'm loyal to you, you're my main priority. I just dabble with something else every now and again, just because I feel like it. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Of course, I don't listen to commentary anyway, and neither should you. You don't need it. What I think you should, you know what I would like? I would like the audio track. That's the only thing I miss. I would love the audio track of the crowd. The watch along with the crowd, I'd love. Anything else, I just don't. I very rarely listen to commentary. I'd say in the last 10 years, I've probably listened to a match with commentary, 10 times, because if I watch a game of football, I'm normally watching it on here or United Stand, or I'll be in a pub with mates or on my own, to be honest. So I don't listen to it, but when I do listen to it, I find it shit. And maybe it's because I'm interacting with you and there's so many good opinions in there. I mean, there's some shit, of course, but there's so many good observations that I find commentary these days manipulative, misleading, corporate and scripted. You know, like, I didn't listen to the commentary of the red card in the Bilbao game, but as an example, I just don't think it would be, cover all bases, have a conversation about it. I think you're being spoken at to. You're being spoken at rather than. It's like one of my editors, Matt, actually said this, and he got it absolutely spot on. Oh, Tillemans nearly scores a worldie from 30 yards out. He wants a corner. I thought he was about to score an absolute worldie here. Let me see it back. Here we go. Technique. It's curling, it's curling, it's curling. I think there's a fingertip on that. He knows as well. Leno knows. I think Leno wants that to be a corner because he wants to take the credit from the save. Matt says, my praise was interrupted by Tillemans. It was nearly a worldie, Matt. We'll come back to it. I've forgotten already what I was going to say. We're nearly at half-time. Anyway, it'd be perfect to talk about it at half-time. Are you doing any other watch-alongs today, Mark, says Fart Smeller? No. I think the Premier League is awful today, actually. Really, really bad. The 3 o'clock games are terrible, and I think Arsenal-Bournemouth won't be that great at R5 either. So, no. But we are doing Chelsea-Liverpool tomorrow. Keep bench sell, Keane, Rodri, Casemiro. Ooh. I'll start Roy Keane, because only chuff monsters aren't going to start Roy Keane. Look, Roy Keane was at his best and in his prime in 1999. That was 26 years ago. So even if you were 10, you'd have had to be far. You know, if you're 10 in Roy Keane's prime, you'd be 36 now. So you've got to be over 35 to know anything about Roy Keane. And I see prats on Sky who are, you know, in their 20s telling us about why Rodri's better than Roy Keane. And I'm like, you were up your mum's chuff. What are you talking about? So Roy Keane I start. Casemiro or Rodri. Rodri's good. And I feel look, people are going to, it's because he's a United fan. I feel like putting Rodri second because I like Rodri. He reminds me like, I mean, obviously he's better than Carrick, but I like that. But Casemiro was very good as well. I mean, he won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. I feel it should be start Keane, bench Casemiro, sell Rodri. But there is a case to say bench Rodri. There is. De Bruyne's doing a Willian, stay away from Arsenal, says NAU. Michael, thanks very much for your super chats. Michael Mayalo says, thought experiment. If we took the entire Spurs squad into Manchester United, would Manchester United finish higher? But you're shit as well, mate. Yeah, you're shit as well. Are Liverpool the most successful English club? 20 Premier Leagues and 6 Champions League. United's 20 Premier Leagues and 3 Champions League. Please answer without bias, says Gary. I have been asked about this before, Gary, very, very quickly. You have done a super chat, so I will give you a fair answer. I don't massively care. What I care about is that Man United are shit and we're nowhere near winning a Premier League or a Champions League, and I don't think we will be for a very long time. Liverpool have just won a Premier League, could have won a Champions League this year, could win it next year, could win the Premier League next year. I'm more bothered that Liverpool are better than Man United and have got more prospects than Man United. I think historically, you're right, 20 titles and you've got more Champions Leagues means that you're more successful, yeah. Who's the bigger club isn't always about trophies, is it? Because Man City have won more trophies than Arsenal. They've won more Premier Leagues than Arsenal. They've won more Champions Leagues than Arsenal. Arsenal are a bigger club than Man City. So let's not, you know, Liverpool are more successful than Manchester United. Liverpool are a better team than Manchester United. Are they a bigger club than Manchester United? I don't really care, actually. I'd say Man United are bigger. But you can't just measure it on success because Man City have got more Premier Leagues than Arsenal. They've got more Champions Leagues than Arsenal. And Arsenal are a bigger club than Man City. So it's not always about that. Gigs planned this summer. I'm seeing Neil Young, says Outlaw Fett. Thank you very much. I will just come back to what I was going to say about Matt. Matt was, people were saying about commentary. And I don't like commentary because I think it's people talking at you. And I think that Matt described our watch-alongs very well once, and I'm probably going to get the words wrong. He said, when you do a watch-along, it's watch a game of football with us. Whereas I think commentary is very much listen to us watch football. I don't think you feel like you're part of it. United are bigger than Liverpool globally, says Wolfie. I don't want to go down this path. Aston Villa are 1-0 up at half-time, by the way. Deservedly so. Good goal from Tielemans. And as you can see, it's quite an equal game, stats-wise. But eye-test-wise, I think Villa have been on top. They just need to get that second goal. Of course, in relation to the league table, this is why Villa have to win today. If they don't win today and draw, they'd go down to 58 points. They've got to put the pressure on. They've got 3 games left after today. I think 67 points will get you 5th place. I personally think Villa might get to 67 by winning their last 2 and drawing 1. But I think Chelsea will get 67. I think Villa have got to win every game and they'll get top 5. But I think they've got Bournemouth away, which might be a difficult game for them. Chelsea got a tough run in. I think Forest have blown it. They've got to go to Palace on Monday night as well. So, yeah, I think it's possible for Villa, but they've got to keep winning, haven't they? Got to keep winning. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Surfshark. You can download that. Use the code THATSFOOTBALL. You get 4 months free. Check it out. Fantastic little bit of kit. And certainly give that a go. Hi, Mark. The look at the Godfrey clip is hilarious, says Tapping Merchant. What's that? I don't know what it is. Expand. Johan says, who is the bigger club, Wrexham or Manchester City? Says Johans. Thank you very much for that. Well, Man City's a bigger club than Wrexham. Man City have a core fan base. They're not completely, fake. Like, Man City went into League One and had 30,000 fans there. Like, they're not, we can take the piss out of Man City, but then they do have a hardcore of fan base and they have quite a big one. They're just not bigger than Arsenal. Like, they're not that big, but they're bigger than Wrexham. Romano just announced Vinicius Junior to United. Dreamland, says Jummer. Yeah, you are dreaming. You are dreaming for sure. Look, as I said, this is not controversial. I have got no issue with a Man City fan who goes to games and spends hard-earned money and says, I'm not going to London to watch Man City in an FA Cup semi-final spunking 300, 400, 500 quid. I'm not going. I applaud that. That is absolutely fine. No problem with it at all. And it definitely sends a message when there is a big, massive section empty on the Man City side. But don't ever say that Man City's fan base is big, because people do that with Arsenal. They do it with Man United. And other people will step in and take the tickets. The thing with Man City is, the reason it was so empty is because those fans decide not to go, and they don't have a load of other fans to come in and take those tickets. If half of Man United's fan base went, I'm not going, it's too expensive, there'd still be people who took those tickets. That's the point. And I think this is the thing that people say about Man City. Their revenue is incredible. How is it they get sponsors who are willing to pay Manchester City more than what teams like Arsenal get, and yet Man City haven't got those fans? Where are these fans for these revenue sponsorship deals? Like, I understand it if a brand comes in and says, I want to sponsor Real Madrid, I want to sponsor Liverpool, I want to sponsor Man United because they've got a huge fan base. But with Manchester City, this has always been the question. Why do you get these big deals when you clearly don't have that big a fan base? They've got a hardcore fan base, 100%. Like I said, they used to go and watch them in League One, 30,000. But last Saturday, or Sunday, exposed the fact that beyond about 50 to 60 UK match attending fans, if some of them don't turn up, there's no one else to take their place. Whereas with Liverpool, if 5 or 10,000 say they're not going, another 5 or 10,000 will. So this has always been the point, isn't it? Why and how do they get these big, massive sponsorship deals when it's very obvious they don't have this big, massive fan base? Do you watch animation movies, Mark? I'm not a big fan, Khalid. I'm not a big fan. If you could take 3 players from teams going back down, who would you take? Delap, Ramsdale, Dibbling would be mine. Says Samarito. Yeah, if I had to. There is that lad at Leicester I quite like. What's the lad at Leicester? I think he's a number 10. I know he's not set the world on fire, but I do quite like him. Someone in the chat will tell me the name. Jummer says, Amrim's scorpion kick winner in the final. Not Vardy. No, not Vardy. Yeah, is that one? Yeah, I think it is him. Blondetti. Who needs to win the Europa League more, Spurs or United, says Daniel. What a stupid question to ask a Manchester United fan. Yeah, definitely United. We need to win it more than Spurs. Spurs are used to not winning trophies. We're not used to that. Oh, me. Okay. Okay, I've had a super chat here. Search, look at Godfrey shouting F off. I've got this on my phone. It's me. I thought there was somebody called Godfrey. Right, I should be able to show you this on the phone. Look at Godfrey. Search, look at Godfrey shouting F off. Search, look at Godfrey shouting F off. It's scored. They've scored. They fucking scored. Look at Godfrey shouting fuck off. I forgot this. I just banged the table. Okay. Bad days. Just searching stuff on the phone now. I've just retweeted it on my Twitter. That's why I've done it. It's on X. If you want to see it. Do you have any favourite beers, Mark? Or you like wine more? Says Dunny. I don't really care. I'm a mood drinker. You know, so in the winter I like a rum or a red wine, and in the summer I like a bottled lager or a gin on tonic, something like that. Yeah, just going back to that question, who needs to win the Europa League more, Spurs or United? I mean, yeah, 100%. It's got to be us. I mean, I dread to think about what might happen if United don't win that. I mean, just not being in Europe will be very boring. Obviously, you can watch other people, but yeah, it's the financials. It's, I mean, I suppose it's the same for Spurs. One thing I will say about Spurs is the incredible. I didn't realise it was Championship final day. The incredible. I'll give you an update on Championship final day. I'm really, really sorry about that. One thing I will say about Spurs is that stadium is incredible. Like, it is absolutely incredible. Like, I've not been yet, but just, when people are putting clips on Instagram and stuff like that, it is an incredible stadium. But I feel like Spurs have been invited into the top 6 for a long time, and you sometimes wonder on what. I think people like Newcastle are stepping in and stepping up, and I'm sort of losing what I'm talking about here. Yeah, I don't look. Spurs, I think, are used to to messing up. And I think United just, we desperately need it. But, you know. Right, let's have a look at this Championship final day. Is there anything actually happening that jeopardises anything? Let's have a quick look at the table. Here we go. Players are in the tunnel here. Here we go. So, the table as it stands has got Bristol and Coventry in the playoffs, but Millwall and Blackburn are in 7th and 8th. So Millwall and Blackburn, well, Millwall are drawing with Burnley and Blackburn are drawing with Sheffield United. Tough games, they're both away. Bristol are actually losing to Preston, but still in there. And where are Coventry? Coventry are beating Middlesbrough. Amazingly, Middlesbrough... Did Middlesbrough have an outside chance? No, not really. So if Millwall or Blackburn were to win, they'd be in the playoffs. But at the moment, neither of them are. So it's looking a little bit dull, isn't it? Tough games for Millwall and Blackburn, though, away to Burnley and Sheffield United. Burnley have already been promoted, but are going for the title. They'd win the title. So, yeah, it's looking like it'll be Bristol and Coventry. In relation to relegation, Derby, Luton, Plymouth and Stoke. Derby, Luton, Plymouth and Stoke. Luton are losing badly. Plymouth are winning. Derby are drawing with Stoke. And Villa nearly just scored there. I'll tell you what. Update me on the Championship. I'm not faking it last day. That was a lot of hard work there. Yeah, keep your questions coming in. I need a film. I tell you what, I need a film for tonight, actually. I'm going to do the 8 o'clock show on the United stand, and then I want a film to watch. Watkins should have scored there. It was a lovely cross from Matty Cash, and I don't know how he's missed. Should be 2-0. Yamal or Mbappe? Well, I'll do a poll on that one, Mohammed. I'll tell you what I watched last week. Somebody recommended it to me. It was a film from the 90s that I'd never watched. State of Grace with Gary Oldman in it, Sean Penn in it. Quite good. It was all right. Adarsh says, if you had to pick one, would you rather get stuck for 4 hours in traffic in stormy rain or 2 hours in a stinky public restroom? No phones in both cases. I'll do 4 hours in traffic, mate. Got the radio, haven't I? Juma says, I'm ready for the final. I'll buy Amrim hoodie if we win. Thank you very much, pal. I've seen Good Will Hunting, Amrim's Reds. Pavan says, have you seen Havoc on Netflix? I thought it was okay. I'm loving Mobland. LA Confidential is a great film. I might watch that. Cross comes in for Fulham, headed away. I knew Yamal was going to batter Mbappe. Villa, I do feel like Villa need the second goal here, and they very much should have the second goal. That's a lovely cross. That should be a goal for Villa. Fulham, clear it away. Tillemans, oh, I tell you what, that was nearly a goal for Fulham. Villa should be out of sight here, though. Watkins should have scored that. They need to get the second goal. Here is Watkins again, out wide. Rodgers, bit greedy, shoots wide. Have you ever watched any of the NSYS franchise, says Samarito? No, I haven't. Catch Me If You Can, says Captain Gummy. Yeah, seen that. Oh, God. I need some sleep. Yeah, I think this is a fair comment about Yamal and Mbappe. Yamal is obviously flavour of the month at the moment, and people forget, as Kieran says, what Mbappe has done previously. It should be closer than 73% Yamal and 27% Mbappe, but I knew that would happen because Yamal at the moment is the, obsession, isn't he? There's no doubt Mbappe is a fantastic player, but his stock is on the floor at the moment. PSG are way better without him, and Real Madrid are worse with him. I don't think that's because he's a bad player, by the way. I just think that it's systematic. Like, Yamal has won a Euros with Spain and could win the Champions League with Barcelona and win the league with Barcelona, and he fits the system. He's a system player. Whereas Mbappe has been proven in these last two clubs to be a non-system player. If you find the right system for Mbappe, he's a brilliant player. But at the moment, obviously, he's got some recency which is negative towards that. Fulham are pushing here. Goal! 1-1. Sessegnon. Oh no, he's given a handball. Took it well. Took it well. To be fair to Villa, they instantly appealed for the handball. I think Sessegnon knows it was a handball. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, he did, yeah. Yeah, he did. It's very weird for players to stop. In the modern game, it's very weird for a player to stop. You always play to the whistle, but they very clearly saw him do that with his hand. It's a lovely finish. Really good finish, but he definitely handles it. Look, he controls it with the hand. I think if he hadn't hit his hand, he was still going to hit it in the bottom corner, but yeah, one of those. Is that somebody famous there in the crowd? Or does the camera person fancy them? Opinions on the Godfather trilogy, says Max. Very, very good. Look, the first two films are good. I don't mind the third one, but it's a shame it doesn't really live up to the previous two. Room 1408 is good. Stephen King, says Lee Berman. Thank you very much. Happy bank holiday weekend, says Rebecca Challenger. Hope you're doing well, Rebecca. One of our members as well, with a super chat. Thank you for the amazing season on That's Football. Absolutely love your content. Well, thank you very much, Rebecca. I'm looking forward to the summer. I think we have daily content on here anyway. I'm going to bring back we normally upload something anyway in the morning, and I'm going to bring back the sort of transfer update shows on That's Football because I enjoy those, and try and sort of summarise all transfers for 10 minutes every day. So make sure you subscribe and get involved. Still undecided on the Club World Cup, what we're going to do with that. I think everybody is undecided on that. I think it's the sort of thing where it will come, people will watch it and then go, I'm not watching this, or actually I quite like it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm away from that, very excited about the summer transfer window. I know sometimes the summer transfer window comes and you're like, what's anybody doing? But I really do think that we're probably going to get the announcement on Man City. Liverpool are going to have their first proper transfer window with Slot. Arsenal need to do things. Chelsea need to do things. The chasing pack need to do things. So, yeah. Mohib says, what's your thoughts on the Guard of Honour debate on TNT? Tell me the debate. I'll give you an opinion. Goal Blackburn. Mark. So, yeah, Blackburn are away to Sheffield United. They're winning 1-0 now. So, as things stand, I don't think they've updated the league table where I'm looking, but I think that puts Blackburn into the playoffs and pushes Bristol City out. as things stand, because Bristol City are losing. I think I'm right on that. They haven't updated it yet, but let's have a look. Yeah, Bristol City are out. If Bristol could equalise, their goal difference isn't better than Blackburn anyway. So it would be Blackburn, if they can hold on or stay in front, they would be into the playoffs, and Bristol City would be out. Remember, Bristol City, in my lifetime, have never had... Bristol have never had a team in the top division in the Premier League. Either or, room with polar bears or your room 101, says David. I'm not going in a room with polar bears. What's your best film ever, says Jason Marsh. I do like Heat. I watch it every year. I just love it. Club World Cup will be an interesting tournament, says NAU. My issue with the Club World Cup is the fact that there is no Liverpool, there is no Barcelona, and there is no Arsenal. And they are three of the best teams in the world. To not have one is disappointing. To not have three. It's like having a World Cup without France, Brazil, and Portugal. That's the best way I can describe it. I think a Club World Cup is a really good idea, but you've blown it integrity-wise straight away by not having three of the best teams in the world in it. And it's a lot of games for the players as well, says Daniel Svensson. I thought Brokeback Mountain was your favourite film, says Tantric. Come on, mate. There's no need to be homophobic. It's 2025. And I tell you what, I have seen the film. Wasn't really my cup of tea, but I have watched it. So what? Do you wear any fragrance, Mark, says James? I do. My summer fragrance is Versace. I've used it for a few years. Moheb says, Rio and Crouch said they should scrap the Guard of Honour because players feel embarrassed doing it. My opinion on the Guard of Honour is that it has to stay, because the best ever Guard of Honour was Arsenal having to do it for Man United with Van Persie. It was amazing. It was just brilliant, and it's worth it for that. So, yeah, I couldn't give a toss about embarrassment. I think it's good. I mean, look, the modern day footballer is so privileged and so detached from the fans in relation to the life they lead and the money they earn. Bringing them back to earth with a humbling Guard of Honour is a good thing, and if it does embarrass them, good. You know, I think it's a good idea. It's a 38 game season. One team's better than everybody else. Their fellow professionals lining up and applauding them onto the pitch. I think it's absolutely fine. Shield says, I've just applied to United Stand. How old do you have to be? It's a good question, really. I mean, I don't want... Yeah, we're not really... We can do apprenticeships and stuff like that, but I think you've got to be 16 or over, really. Do you like Wes Anderson films, Mark? Says Rob, Always United. Give me some, and I'll let you know. Smith Rose just come on here. What Shill's talking about is that we do a summer recruitment program every year, just looking for some, you know, if there's... I mean, we don't always take people on, but if you want to get... We can do it for That's Football as well. Basically, send us a 45-second clip or a minute to that'sfootballmedia@gmail.com. We're also looking for a social media manager as well, for a social media account. So, yeah, I mean, look, most of you are going to be wasting your time, because it's just like we're not really looking to take a punt on people without experience. But when it comes to in front of the camera, then, you know, that sort of that's different, isn't it? But there's no point sitting in your car doing it. Like, you've got to have a setup to be able to do it. Like, you've got to have a room to be able to do it, because we can't just go, oh, you're brilliant, you're perfect for That's Football. Where are you going to film from? Oh, on my phone. Like, you've got to have a setup to be able to do it. And it doesn't matter where you're from, really. I think, you know, football is a global sport now. Yeah, so if you want to do that, that's footballmedia@gmail.com. Send it in. You might be in a job at the moment doing something similar and you think, you know what, I quite fancy that. Do you think the Don was clapping Van Persie during the Guard of Honour, says Cashy Cole? I don't think there's many Arsenal fans clapping Van Persie, and I certainly wouldn't have been. Podcast Passion says, will Sessegnon get a move this summer? Also got last game of the season tomorrow. Good luck, Podcast Passion. Is Sessegnon looking for one? I think Fulham have got some good players. I wouldn't be surprised if Fulham get a draw out of this. I really do think Villa need to get the second goal. Because Fulham are... Here we go. He should have passed that. It's going to be a yellow card there. Behind Enemy Lines is a good film, Mark. I think I've seen it. I think I've seen it. Let me have a quick look. 2001. It's only got 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. Double substitution here. Good players. I mean, good players. You know, I look at that Aston Villa side, and it's about the players. You know, Jacob Ramsey, Onana. You know, they've got depth, and I love depth. McGinn's coming off. Asensio's coming off. Been quite quiet, Asensio. Jenny was the villain of Forrest Gump. Come at me, says NAU. Yeah, I watched that the other day. Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. My name's Forrest Gump. A lot of people dislike Tom Hanks, don't they? I don't have the time to do that politics or celebrity gossip. I just don't have the time. That's a lovely ball into what? If they score this goal, Villa. Oh, great. That's such a shame. That would have been a great goal. Lovely play down the wing from Rodgers. The pass into Watkins was absolutely perfectly weighted. Got him in behind. Still had a bit of work to do. Good save by Leno, but it would have been a great goal. Here's Tielemans. Good tackle. The Darjeeling Limited is my favourite film, says Rob Always United. If you haven't seen The Royal Tenenballs, you should. It's a great Wes Anderson film. I think I did watch it HPN. I thought it was okay. Villa coming forward again. Ramsey, no. Last time he brought on Ramsey and Onana, they scored 2 quick goals against Newcastle, didn't they? So let's see if this works out. Got another goal in the Championship here. And I think it's an equaliser for Sheffield United, so that puts Bristol City back in to the playoffs. Plymouth are drawing with Leeds as well. Are Plymouth down anyway? Yeah, Plymouth are basically down because of their goal difference, aren't they? And Luton need... What do Luton need? A miracle. Luton are losing 4-1. Yeah, relegation's done in the Championship. Ramsey lays it back. Terrible from Maatsen. Castaway, big, Toy Story, Green Mile is great, says NAU. Green Mile's a fantastic film. It's a sad film, but it's brilliant. I really do like The Green Mile. It's what's the 3 best prison films of all time? I think The Rock, The Green Mile, and The Shawshank Redemption. Mic drop. Fight me. I used to like Lock Up with Stallone, but it's shit when you grow up. The Rock's brilliant. It is technically a prison film because it's based in Alcaraz. The Rock's a brilliant film. Con Air, you could say that's a prison film. I mean, Nicolas Cage is an acquired taste, but I actually quite like... I do think Nicolas Cage is an acquired taste. But I love Family Man, which is like a Christmassy film. I love The Rock, and I quite like Con Air as well. What about The Great Escape, says William? I don't mind The Great Escape, but I do feel... It's not of my era, you know? I had to watch it every bloody Christmas, like The Sound of Music as well. And you know, when you're a kid being forced to watch The Great Escape, it's a little bit like, you know, watching Last of the Summer Wine. Good cross, headed straight at Martinez. Villa got to be careful here. What about Shutter Island? Good film, but when you know, you know. With that, people always say you should watch it again. I'm like, when you know, you know. I prefer Inception. Watchmen's quite a good film, yeah. My favourite United kit is that one behind me. There. The blue one. Good run here. That's going to be a foul. Could be a second yellow there. No. Watkins is saying it. Primal Fear, is that the one with Richard Gere and Edward Norton in it? Quite a good film, I think. Let me just Google it. It's quite good. Again, there is a twist that would make you not watch it again. Yeah, it is good, but there's a twist. It's like The Sixth Sense. You'd never watch it again. American History X is a good film. Edward Norton was a really good actor. I don't know what went wrong there. I mean, he probably still is, but... You know, Edward Norton's in a film with Orlando Bloom, Kingdom of Heaven. Apparently, there's a director's cut of that takes it from a 6 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10, and I've never seen it. You can't get the director's cut, but apparently the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven adds half an hour of footage that was not in the original film and makes it better. But I tried to get hold of it, but I think it's on Blu-ray or something. But that's got to be a rarity though, where like you can take a film from a 6 to a 9. What's your thoughts on horror films, Mark? I used to love them, but as I got older, I find them hard to watch. I've never really been. I know some people absolutely love them. It's a bit like rom-coms. I don't really. There's a lot of. You know, like these, there's a lot of them these days, and I refuse to watch them. Action comedies, like Wahlberg's done a couple. Why would I want to watch an action comedy? I'm not interested in an action comedy. I want a comedy or action. I don't want an action comedy. So yeah, I'm a bit like that. Norton was just in the Bob Dylan biography movie, and he's fantastic, says HPN. Right, Villa got a chance to whip across in here. They're not going to. Terrible. Go on, second ball. Anana wins it back. That's a free kick, not been given. Now he has given it, yeah. Good refereeing. Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, says Dylan. No, not doing a poll on it, Dylan. Breaking Bad's way better than Better Call Saul. You can't have Better Call Saul without Breaking Bad. Escape from Alcatraz, says Jason. Yeah, Training Day is a good film. Prisoners is a good film. I saw a story about a polar and grizzly bear mating, creating a 1,000-pound beast that does not live in the Arctic. Actually scared me a bit, says AJ. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I always think about. You know, when you, like, see these amazing, picturesque photos of, like, Canada and stuff like that, I think it'd be great, absolutely great. You're walking around, you know, trekking along. The trouble is, if a bear walks around a corner, that's in the back of my head the whole time. There's a controversial director's cut to American History X, says Keel. Oh, never heard about that. You do just fear for Villa a little bit here. There's still 20 minutes to go. Apparently, here's a funny story. Apparently, Arsenal have inquired about Anthony. Have they my arse? What a load of crap. No chance. Pau Torres has just had a chance for Villa on the back post. He's never getting on the end of that, is he? Watkins is coming off. I think he's going to bring Mallon on. Again, not a great day for Ali Watkins. He's done, put a shift in, but it's not quite been his day. He should have scored at the start of the second half and put the game to bed. I don't know about you. I detect with Mallon and Digne coming on for Maatsen and Watkins. I detect with Emery and Watkins, there's just a little bit of something going on there. And they could do with sorting it out, because Villa really could do with... firing Ollie Watkins in these last few games. I think if Villa get top 5, it would be a brilliant season for them. I mean, I think it's so difficult. Like, Newcastle got Champions League, couldn't get back in it the following year. Villa have got Champions League, and I think if you can do a Champions League season and then get back into it, that would be brilliant for Villa. 2 years in a row. It's very, very difficult. It's a skill. It's a skill to be able to keep getting in the Champions League, and I think it's something that teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City have become very good at. Man United will finish bottom half and could get Champions League through the Europa League, which they only got for winning the FA Cup after finishing 8th, says Tom McBride with half laughing emojis. What's funny about that? The joke's on you, mate. Like, we legitimately won the FA Cup to legitimately qualify for the Europa League, which, if you legitimately win, legitimately qualifies you for the Champions League. We haven't made the rules up. It's there. Why we're so shit in the Premier League and we can win in the Cups, I don't know. How much of a clown... I don't know what that's all about, Cashley Cole, so I just have to read about this before I read it. So Cashley Cole is talking about Nicolas Jover, who is their set-piece coach, and he says, how much of a clown is Jover? That mural made his ego go through the roof. Yeah, I mean, look, he was a celebrity a bit, wasn't he, with the set-piece stuff, but it's not gone great. Did you give In Bruges a watch? Dark comedy drama. I haven't watched that, NAU. Thank you very much. Smith Rowe is terrible, says Marty. I've heard a few things about Smith Rowe. I mean, and it's rumour, so I'm not going to put it out there, but apparently he likes to go out a lot. But I don't know whether that's a fair assumption, and that's why Arsenal got rid of him. I sometimes think with that, like, likes to go out a lot. A lot of footballers go out. Is it more like, you know, he's just not consistent? I think he's just. There's a lot of footballers who are like that. The James Maddisons, on their day, they can be really good, but they don't have many days. I'm starving. I think I'm going to make myself a chicken and coleslaw sandwich. What I will say is if Fulham, if Villa don't win, I don't think they get top 5. They've got to win this game. It's getting a little bit nervy. I second the In Bruges shout. Very, very funny, says the Thera Hewitt. Coleslaw on a sandwich is just, oh yeah. I love coleslaw in a sandwich. Add a bit of avocado, Rex, yeah. Sounds lovely. Big Boss has just had it for his lunch. Great minds. Yeah, some good bread. I don't use white bread. Like some good wholemeal bread. Buttered. Some chopped up chicken. Preferably tikka. And then coleslaw on top. Squash it all down. Maybe an array of crisps. Nice little lunch. Muster likes white bread better than brown. I used to like white bread. I just find it very processed. And that sounds like knobby. I don't care about processed food massively, but I do. White bread just feels a bit artificial to me. Then again, if it's a bacon sandwich, it's got to be, if it's a chip butty, it's got to be white bread with butter. Here we go, Fulham. Told you it was cool. Good block, Matty Cash. And I think he's injured. He is hurt. Crescent of crisp, says Daniel, yeah. Way to think of it in cup competition. United won 20 in a row. Sign of champions, says Keel Robinson. Can't eat a sandwich without crisps, says Toon on Tour. Oh yeah, he sort of followed through and caught him on the knee, hasn't he? Yeah. He'd be all right. Favourite crisps, says Claude. We're just waiting for the game to get started here. Championship deadline is rubbish, by the way. Burnley are beating Millwall. Bristol are 2-2 with Preston. Blackburn are drawing with Sheffield United. The relegation is sorted, so there's really not a lot going on. Bristol and Coventry have got the playoffs, and the relegated teams are Plymouth and Luton. So not a lot of drama really, and there's not likely to be because Bristol have got back into it. Coventry are beating Middlesbrough. So if Middlesbrough were to equalise, Coventry would drop to 67, which would still put them through in there. So, yeah, a bit boring at the moment in relation to the old Championship. More tension here because Villa can't afford to draw. They've got to win. If Portsmouth win, Luton stay up. Let me have a quick look. Yes. You're right. Newcastle, Chelsea next week. Next Sunday's an interesting day, actually, in relation to the Premier League. I was looking at this. Let me have a look. So, yeah, next Sunday, Newcastle play Chelsea at midday. Then Man United are playing at 2:15. Then Liverpool are playing Arsenal at 4:30. Nice ball into Malen. What's that? I mean, literally, what was that? They've still got it, though. Hey, Malen. Good save, Leno. Corner. Alexander says, I want a Fulham goal. I hope Villa get nothing. Nothing. Are you going to do a triple watch-along on that day, says Samuel. Anyone know what happened to the podcast, says Yvan. It was literally out on Monday. We had a bit of a break. It was back on Monday. That would have been a very good... Arsenal-Liverpool would have been great if Arsenal weren't so far behind. Fernando says, I hate Villa as much as Mark hates Burnley. The rivalry between Birmingham City and Villa is real. Like, but I know a lot of Blues fans and I know a lot of Villa fans, and I don't really care. Like, you know, I want to see Blues in the Premier League, and I want to see Villa in the Champions League, but it is a proper rivalry. Arsenal have got a tough run in, says Rex. Well, somebody was saying before that Arsenal might not even finish second. I mean, I tell you what, Arteta's not going anywhere, but imagine knocked out by PSG and then they lose second place. Oh, my God. The Arteta out brigade are going to be absolutely... Oh, here we go. He's not going to quite get there. Tillemans, he hasn't got the pace. No. It's Man, isn't it? Man City could end up getting second. Adama Traore's on, by the way. If you had to guess, how old would you say Adama Traore is? I'd say he was 27. I was wrong. LMP got it, 29. Yeah, he's 29. A lot of people got it. Kevlar said 32. Suppose he has been around a while, hasn't he? Yeah, if Portsmouth win, Luton survive, but they're drawing against Hull with 10 minutes to go. Coventry are beating Middlesbrough, so they're fine. They're going to be in the playoffs. Millwall are losing, so they can't get in the playoffs. Bristol are drawing. They're in the playoffs at the moment. And Blackburn are drawing with Sheffield United when they need to win. So it will be Bristol and Coventry in the playoffs with Sheffield United and Sunderland. The thing is, if Bristol can win, they'd avoid playing Sheffield United until the final. Oh, Fulham player coming off here. He's hurt and he's not happy. Calf, isn't it? The downfall of Luton is crazy. What happens, says Wes? I don't know. I actually don't know. They were the best team that got relegated last year and then they can't stay in the Championship. I mean, did they sell a lot of players? I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I'm looking at their team here. Where are Luton? Losing 5-1 to West Brom. Still got a lot of players that they had in the Prem. Chong on the bench. What horses should I put cash on? You're asking the wrong person, Cashy Cole. Well, Villa have kept this game more stressful than it needed to be for them. They absolutely have to win. A draw, I think, basically kills any chance of getting the top 5. They've got to win, and at 1-0, anything could happen. Gulen says, I feel sorry for the fans that bought tickets for Derby versus Stoke. With Luton losing, they don't need to play at all because they're both safe. Oh, good cross into the box. Second ball, Fulham. No, Anana's won that. Now comes Ross Barkley. Mallon lays it off. Rogers. Mallon gets it back. Bassey's just gone down injured. Don't know what that was all about. Mallon, if he scores, there's going to be controversy. And it goes for a corner. I'm on the United Stand live at 8 o'clock. Yes, Alex, yes. Yes, I am. I am. Yeah, he caught him in the face a little bit by accident, but yeah, I don't really know what that was all about. Written in the stars, a million miles away. That's when I tell you what, that was when Super Sunday was good, wasn't it? That just popped into my head from nowhere. Remember that? That's when Super Sunday on Sky used to be good, when they had that. Written in the stars, but I will never change. I'm on my way. Ooh. That was proper Super Sunday, that was. None of this rubbish white trainers hipster shit. That's a real blast from the past. Remember when ITV used to have the Premier League highlights? It's a beautiful day. So let it get away. Over the bar from Fulham. It was a WrestleMania song as well. John says, do you have hairy armpits? I don't spend a lot of time around men, but I presume a lot of men do, and I certainly do, being a man. How is it that Darmian was playing right back in the Champions League and he was awful at United at his age? He wasn't awful at United. He was steady, but he wasn't good enough. System player, you see. As a Chelsea fan, can we get the Liverpool team drunk before the game? Do a Marco Silva impression. I want him at Chelsea. Fulham can have Sean Dyche. That's all from... I can't do AJ. I can't do a Marco Silva impression. I don't even know. I can do Sir Jim Radcliffe. At the end of the day, I can't do a Marco Silva impression. But I can sack people because I'm a ruthless billionaire. And I don't care if they're on the dole or, they can't afford to clothe themselves. I can, in the finest clothes in the world, and I'm on my yachts having a great time. It's survival of the fittest, and I run 10 kilometres a day and swim in the sea because I'm loaded at the end of the day. But I don't know how Marco Silva talks. 74% of you went with Yamal over Mbappe. Traore. 2 minutes to go here. So Jim Radcliffe's a Chelsea fan. That was from Neymar Khan. As a Chelsea fan, that was from Neymar Khan. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who's got involved today, by the way. We are doing Chelsea-Liverpool tomorrow. That's our next watch-along on here. But I will be doing United Stand later at 8 o'clock live, and also United against Brentford tomorrow. Do you do Super 6, Mark, says Gary? We used to. It was very, very popular. And then, well, I'm not going to say anything. Is there a deadline for That's Football application, mate? Says Buster. No, we'll always look. Yeah, we'll always look. Is Adama Traore the definition of all bark, no bite? Here he comes. Good tackle. The thing about Adama Traore, he had an amazing time at Wolves, where I think he was one of the most creative wide players in the league statistically. I like him, but he's probably a little bit too big, isn't he? He probably spends a little bit too much time in the gym. And he probably could spend a little bit more time on his technique. I mean, you're not that big without being in the gym a lot, are you? I mean, I'm no, as you can see, I'm not a gym person, but he must spend a lot of time in the gym to be that big. Like, he is built. Look at his thighs, look at his chest, look at his arms. Yeah, Barry says, Adama, I don't lift weights. Traore, yeah. Fernando says, what's the saying, never trust a cucumber from a woman's prison? I think I said that once. Morning, Mark. Just woke up. What's the United news, says OTG. We've won the league and we're signing Vinicius Jr. Go back to bed. Everything's fine. More baby oil than a P. Diddy party, says White Knight. Eight minutes added on. Villa fans. Ooh, look at the stats. Quite equal. It's all about the win. He's looking worried, Emery. They need to win to keep their top 5 hopes alive. Chelsea fans will be hoping that Fulham can get an equaliser here. It's so big, isn't it? I mean, look, I think for Forest, they wouldn't have been expecting it. It would be a fantasy to get Champions League football. But I think for Villa and Chelsea, the difference in their future is it's 50 million quid, isn't it? Like, I think if you win the Europa League, you're probably going to make somewhere between 30 and 50 million quid across the season. If you're in the Champions League, you're going to make somewhere between 80 and 110. And that, for teams like Chelsea and Villa, has such a big bearing, doesn't it? So they're the direct rivals for this. I can't see Forest doing it now. I think Forest will be in Europe in some way, shape or form, but it's Villa or Chelsea for 5th, I think. And Villa's only chance is to win, 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 win. Where's the 8 minutes come from, says Peasy? I don't know. I think this referee's had a good game, though. I mean, I don't think he's had a lot to actually do, but I think he's done all right. Fulham are playing with 10 men, apparently. Apologies for not realising that. I think they've used all their subs, haven't they? Any drama in the Championship? No, because Portsmouth are still drawing with Hull, which keeps Hull up and sends Luton down. Blackburn are drawing with Sheffield United. They need to win. Bristol are drawing with Preston. That keeps them up. Coventry are beating Middlesbrough. That keeps them in the playoffs, as well as Bristol in the playoffs. And Millwall are now losing to Burnley. So quite a dull Championship deadline day, to be honest. Sorry, Championship final day. Pretty much as you were. Leeds are second for the title. Mark, Traore was born with a deficiency, so he can easily put on way more muscle than most people. He's really athletic, just ain't got ability, says Ghost 14. Bobo says he claims that he doesn't go to the gym. Odds of Wrexham reaching the Premier League in the next 3 years, says Frenzy, very high. They'll be one of the richest clubs in the Championship, so very high. But at some point, they're going to have to replace Phil Parkinson because his brand of football is not easy on the eye. But here's Mallon. He took it well. Oh, he's hit the bar. Unbelievable. He did everything right there. His first touch was brilliant. His turn of pace was brilliant. And the shot hits the bar. Look at this for a first touch. Lovely first touch. Away he goes. And hits the underside of the bar. Have you seen the Will Still and Jamie Carragher tactical insight on Monday Night Football? Really interesting watch. Carragher barely speaks, says Samarito. Leeds are winning, Mark. Leeds are winning. Leeds are winning. Leeds are beating Plymouth 2-1. Yes, I think that puts them as champions, doesn't it? Yep. 100 points, goal difference over Burnley. Leeds and Burnley, 100 points. That looks mad, doesn't it, when you look at the table? 100 points for Leeds and Burnley. I mean, look, to be fair, in the Championship, obviously they play 8 games more than the Prem. So there is 138 points up for grabs. So 100 points is not unheard of. Whereas in the Prem, there's 114. Two minutes to go. Can Fulham get a late equaliser? Not in their own half, they can't. But they're working their way forward. Keeps the top 5 race alive, this. Some banging games coming up. Chelsea, pressure's on Chelsea a little bit now because of their next 2 games. They've got to go to Newcastle next week and they've got Liverpool tomorrow afternoon. Could get very interesting in the top 5 race. I mean, Chelsea have done well recently, but if they can get a win against Liverpool or Newcastle, I think they've got it. Not doing the Arsenal game, no. Ed says it's been confirmed. Back-to-back relegations for Luton. Terrible for them. Only one Premier League team reached 100 points, says Hate Jesus. Yeah, and we all know who it was. But, you know, it might not mean anything at some point. Anthony Robinson, he's dangerous. 30 seconds to go. Cross comes in. Headed away by Digne. Ramsey just needs to get rid of this. They're in possession of the ball. 20 seconds to go. Mallon. Digne down the line. Ross Barkley. Bassey's done really well, but Barkley's still got it. Terrible pass. Eight minutes are up. And that's up as well. Very good result for Villa. 3 big points. Emery's very happy. He seems a bit apologetic with Marco Silva. I mean, they were still hoping for European football. They still could get it if they get 8th place. But it's a big, big win for Villa, that. And it puts them into, as you can see, well, they're still in 7th place. Villa have actually won 6 of their last 7 Premier League games, by the way, and still are in 7th place. It's a crazy thing. Winning 6 of your last 7, and they just can't get into the top 6. But they're in the race again. They're on 60 points, same as Forest, same as Chelsea. Chelsea got Liverpool tomorrow. Forest go to Palace on Monday. So Villa give themselves a chance in this race for Champions League football. Fulham remain in 8th, but obviously Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford still got to play this weekend. So there we go. The gap is 9 points between 7th and 8th now. Leeds are champions of the Championship. So I think let's just have a double check what's going on there. Just change channel. Coventry Middlesbrough. Why would they have that on? No, they've tried to follow the relegation battle, haven't they? Yeah, so Leeds are winning 2-1 against Plymouth, and Burnley are going to beat Millwall, but it will be Leeds who get the title. Unless Plymouth can equalise here. They're on the attack. Portsmouth drawing with Hull sent Luton down. I've done that one, thank you. How long's left in this Leeds game? I'm gone. I can't be a fake Championship fan at the end. Well done. Well done. I haven't watched the 91 Rotterdam documentary yet, says Briar. Will do, though. Where can I watch it other than MUTV? Is it anywhere else? Can I watch it anywhere else? Yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. We're back tomorrow with a watch along for Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man United. I'm on the United stand at 8 o'clock tonight as well. Take care, everyone, and I'll speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.